Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this week's webinar on cost shares and how they are bolstering the benefits here at the St. Johns River Water Management District. I am Jennifer Mitchell, and I am one of the public communication coordinators here at the district, and I have been organizing this webinar series. I hope that you will tune in for our next webinar on December 10th, where we will discuss what are wetlands and why should we care, and about some of the restoration in the upper St. Johns River Basin. Today we have a fabulous presentation from Lou Donangelo, who is going to talk about our cost share program. And I hope that this will maybe elicit some ideas of projects that can be implemented within your communities, and that you will contact our cost share folks for more information. So Lou, while you're unmuting and getting everything all set up, would you mind telling us a little bit about how you started at the district and how long you've been at the district?
Hi, Jennifer, and thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I've been at the district here. First of all, I've been in the field of water resources for 35 years. 26 of those years have been with the St. Johns district. I've worn many hats while I've been here. Starting out in the old engineering division, doing surface water modeling. Spent many years in the regulatory program, where I was reviewing engineering review of ERP applications. And I've spent time as an initiative leader and a regional water supply coordinator. About 5 months ago, I got the promotion to this bureau chief position. So I'm the bureau chief of the Bureau of Project Management. And today I'd like to discuss, give you an overview of our annual cost share program and tell you about the good work that we're doing.
Wonderful. So I am going to give just a few little quick technical rules or whatnot about the GoToWebinar platform. All of the participants will be on mute throughout the presentation, but we do hope that you will ask questions, and feel free to enter those questions that you have into that question box in your control panel. We will have a time at the end of the presentation that we address those questions, and if we have a flood of questions and don't have time to get to all of them, we will answer them in an email directly to you. So we really do hope to have some good discussion and good questions about our cost share program. With that, I'm going to turn off my camera so that I'm not distracting. And thank you so much for your fabulous presentation, Lou.
Thank you. Okay. The first slide I have just shows the boundaries of the district, and we're whole or part of 18 counties. The Water Management District is not divided by political boundaries. It's based on watershed boundaries, so which is kind of unique. As you can see, and on the left-hand side, we have all the counties listed, and then with the corresponding map on the right. What we have in yellow here is Flagler, Nassau County, Putnam. You can see those identified in yellow. Those are what we call ready communities. And we also have those in the dots on the map, which are additional communities. So that is part of our Rural Economic and Development Initiative. And that will be important later on in this presentation. I just wanted to point that out. All right, the district's foundation is based on our core missions. We work to protect and ensure that we have adequate water supply for both people and the environment. We're concerned with flood protection. We want to prevent increases in flooding, both in stage and duration. We want to protect our water quality, both on surface water and groundwater. And we want to protect our natural systems. So the work that we're doing in this bureau mirrors that. It gives us an opportunity to leverage district funds with local governments to provide benefits to those core missions. I'd like to introduce you to my team. They're a dedicated group of professionals that include engineers, environmental scientists, and planners. All the members of my team have been assigned bureau lead positions. And those lead positions kind of mirror the core missions or areas of critical concern. I also have assigned our project managers an area of outreach focus, and that focus is both internal and external to the district. So a lot of people think that the district is a monolith. There's a lot of divisions and a lot of good work being done. So I want my project managers out there. I need them talking to the groups internally to see what we're doing. And then when we go out and we meet with our potential cost share partners, they have better perspective on what our partners need and what beneficial projects can be developed. So I encourage you to reach out, and then if you have projects that your local government's looking to do, have a pre-app with these professionals, and we'll try to ensure that we have the most beneficial projects, most impactful projects coming out of this cost share program. All right, today we're going to focus on two of our recurring annual cost share programs. There are other programs within the district. For example, we have an ag cost share program, and there's other grant programs that are more one-offs, but this is the recurring two annual programs that are they're run out of the Bureau of Project Management. The first cost share program would be our district-wide, our larger program. And then a smaller program called the Ready and Innovative. And we discussed Ready communities earlier. Those are rural and economically disadvantaged communities. And we had set aside a cost share program where they can compete more readily with for cost share dollars with the bigger projects. So that's why it was important to us to set them aside. So just bringing up the district-wide cost share, you can see I have two other programs that are FDEP programs underneath them. And those are the Springs Restoration Program and the AWS Grant Program. The district-wide cost share is the gatekeeper. We take the applications, we evaluate the projects, and then from that list of projects, we segregate out Springs projects and AWS projects for submittal to the DEP to see if they will co-fund projects with us. And we've had this relationship for years in the Springs Restoration Program. That's a $50 million program from the FDEP. And more recently, the Alternative Water Supply Program that we hope to have as a recurring annual program going forward. So just some general definitions and basic ground rules. The cost share programs are a competitive process. Applications are submitted, reviewed, ranked, and approved by our governing board. Where we take the applications in and we have a review process, and the best projects then are ranked according to a list of considerations that I'll go over in a little while. One of the key points I want to make is that funding is for construction only. That question comes up often. There's a lot of local communities that would like us to participate in design, but the funding is for the construction of projects. So we want to get benefits associated with the construction. O&M type projects are generally excluded from our cost share. We're looking to generate new benefits. We do have an exception for our ready communities where we'll help them with water and wastewater systems, kind of enhancements to those facilities. And then just on a final point, the definition, a basic definition of innovative projects. They're projects that use emerging or proven technologies that are just not commonly used in Florida. And later on in the presentation, I'll have an example of a project, innovative project. District-wide cost share program. The funding amount that's available every year is different depending on our budget process, but generally it's in the range of $20 million total. This year, the district-wide cost share, $16.5 million, again, for construction only, and the district will be supporting projects up to 33%. And we will also support water conservation projects at a 50% funding level. Now there is a cap. That cap is $1.5 million, and that's per project or entity. So that's just something to keep in mind. The Ready and Innovative program, this year, $3.5 million, again for construction only, but we do a 50% cost share on these projects. And with Ready communities having the ability to get 100% of their projects funded. So we have a cap of $500,000 per project on or to the entity on these projects. All right, at this point, I'd like to talk about our process and how we evaluate our applications. The first 4 circles are basically the foundation of what a review looks like. The first thing we're looking for, and that's probably the biggest thing, is a quantifiable benefit to the resource. It's both primary or secondary. We'll get credit for that. The second thing we're looking for is the construction readiness of a project. There's an expectation that we would have a project completed within 2 years. So projects that start sooner would receive additional points. The whole point of this program is to get the money out into local governments and it's to solve water resource problems and concerns, but we also are interested to get these dollars out there spent in the community and stimulating the economy and providing benefits to local communities. The next aspect of our review would look at cost effectiveness, and this essentially is a calculation that looks at the benefit per cost ratio. So the better projects that can be done that have high benefits and lower costs would have a better ratio of cost effectiveness. And then the fourth item is the quality and completeness of an application. And this is important because we have a short window of time that we're reviewing your applications. You want to come in with the most complete and appropriate application that defines the benefits. If we have to, if it's incomplete and we have to ask a lot of additional questions, that could impact the score of that application. And then the 2 bottom circles are, we do look at past performance. We want to work with the partners who can achieve the projects and fulfill their obligations under contracts. So if your past performance is good, then you'll be considered for that. And if your performance is poor, then it would weigh on your application. And one additional thing is we encouraged local communities to have a landscape irrigation ordinance. So we want to encourage water conservation where possible. So if a landscape ordinance is in that community, they will get additional bonus points towards their application. There are other factors that are included in our review, whether projects are in a regional water supply plan or a prevention and recovery strategy, that's an important aspect to the district and honing in on areas where projects can be most beneficial. So we'll promote projects that are in those plans that exist in a BMAP. So we look at that critically. Here's just some cost share milestones. This is a good time for this talk because this January we're going to lead. We're going to open up our solicitation period for applications in January. So this is a good time to get back with some of our project managers. If you have ideas, projects that you're considering, this is the great time to have a pre-app. We'll put your project in the best shape it can be in so it can compete very well in our application period. So applications would be due in February, and then we'll go through the evaluation period between February and April, where we bring that list of consolidated projects to our governing board for approval. Once we have that list of approved projects, we start working on scopes of works and contracts with our partners who are awarded the funds. And we try to get to a position where we're spending the money as close as October 1st as we can to get this annual cost share moving forward. So that first part of it was to talk about the process, and now I want to talk about what we've achieved through a bureau, through our annual cost share since 2014. Basically, what has the taxpayer got for its investment? As you can see, the district has contracted with its partners for over $210 million for roughly $589 million of construction cost. The benefits that we were able to realize through that investment is alternative water supply of 178 million gallons per day, water conserved about 8.4 million gallons per day, flood control protection of over 5,000 acres of flood control protection. On the water quality side, the nutrient reductions that we're receiving, total nitrogen reduction of 1.8 million pounds per year, total phosphorus reductions of 325 pounds per year. You also see here one-time benefits of TN and TP in pounds. Those are one-time benefits that are realized when we do things like muck removal, some dredging projects that are highly beneficial. And then last, on natural systems, 70 acres, and that really doesn't tell the whole story because that's just direct improvements. A lot of the projects that we work on have benefits outside the footprint of the project, so they benefit the surrounding acres and land beyond the project footprint. At this time, I'd like to focus on some individual projects and kind of indicate some of the successful implementations of projects that demonstrate the benefits to our resources. The first project I'm highlighting here is Osprey Acres. It's a stormwater park. It came out of our fiscal 2016 cost share cycle. It's a load reduction project to the Indian River Lagoon. And basically, this is a stormwater project from an agricultural area, and that this water's treated in this stormwater park before it goes out to its receiving water body, which is the Indian River Lagoon. All right, and so that was an example of a of a water quality project, and this would be a flood control project here, and this is in the city of St. Augustine. And this project involved the retrofit of 2 existing stormwater outfalls, both a 30-inch and a 60-inch, with tidal backflow prevention valves. The project reduced flooding that occurred 12 to 16 times a year, and it impacted 95 acres of residential area. So these are important projects. The projects are part of the city's stormwater resiliency master plan. And so far, the city has retrofitted 31 of these outfalls throughout the city. And the district was able to help fund 24 of them. So it's been a very successful implementation. The next project I have here is an example of a water supply project. In particular, it's an expansion of a reclaimed distribution system, which this is an important tool in our toolbox to help sustain water supply. The construction of these projects allow utilities to supplement their fresh groundwater demand with human contact reclaimed water. So we're supplementing that for use in outdoor irrigation. So it helps with our water supply being more sustainable. And this project right here we have is Groveland, and it has an estimated alternative water supply of 1.5 million gallons a day. And you can see the costs of the project and the district's contribution. The next project is one of the innovative projects that we talked about. Again, the Ready and Innovative program set up to take on some special projects that would not normally compete in our district-wide cost share. So here we have a project that was doing some pilot testing on 2 treatment processes to evaluate the effectiveness of treating wastewater to potable standards. And a lot of good information was gleaned from that pilot study. The next progression of that would be to make it more from a pilot study to a demonstration project, and then to implement a full-scale operation. And having these projects studied in this program ensures that we get a cost-effective project at the end. So this sets the groundwork for doing this type of work in the future. The next 2 projects I want to talk about are a very important water quality projects. They're septic to sewer projects. So I have 2 projects here, and they're of 2 different scales. The first one is a smaller, more of a rural area, more of a economically disadvantaged area that the West Wabasso community was able to come to our 19 cost share and get funding for. It involved 101 parcels, and then provided benefits of roughly 1,200 pounds per year of nitrogen that was ultimately ending up in the Indian River Lagoon. So a very good project. And here on a larger scale, we see the Longwood Septic abatement program. And this has been going on in phases, comes into the district between the FY16 cycle and just recently in the 21 cycle. It's got 6 phases. The objective here is to take the entire city off of septic. And right now they've abandoned more than 480 tanks, and they have about 920 tanks remaining. The project has been going extremely successful. And this is just an example of how you can implement a strategy and get an entire city that's in a very critical spring shed off of septic and onto a sewer. And finally, this is a project that's near and dear to my heart. This is something I worked on when I was a regional water supply coordinator. I was part of the early conceptualization of this project, and this project hits all 4 core missions of the district. What it was originally was a golf course, and the golf course had some reclaimed ponds that were lined. They took the golf course offline. They bermed up the areas that into essentially 3 cells, and these are treatment cells of constructed wetlands. And water is then brought into this system. It's advanced treated wastewater and stormwater, and it's treated in our constructed wetland system. And then once it's treated, it's discharged into the aquifer. And this is a great project because it's in the Silver Springs watershed. So it's supporting our prevention and recovery strategies in Silver Springs. And it's providing water quality benefits, stormwater harvesting. And the good thing for the community, it's an amenity. So we have wildlife habitat that's been constructed, and we have opportunities for educational and recreational opportunities. So you got the beneficial recharge in a passive park setting. City of Ocala opened this park just recently. So the plantings are fairly new. As this project matures, it's going to be a spectacular feature. What they had done is they bermed up the fairways and left a lot of the mature canopy of trees in place. So it's a beautiful park setting, and I encourage everybody to go out there and take a look at it. It's phenomenal. So the benefits. First of all, this was the #1 ranked project in the 2018 Costshare cycle. The project will have aquifer recharge anywhere from 3 to 5 MGD to the upper Floridan. Our constructed wetlands will provide the treatment, and there's also stormwater harvesting occurring on a project that was a stormwater detention area that was currently not working and promoting flooding in the city of Ocala. So by piping this water over to this area, we've removed a flooding concern and provided additional water that could be treated and then recharged back into the aquifer. So it was a total win-win. And the project was roughly $8.4 million, and both the FDEP and the Water Management District had a 25% share each, and the City of Ocala funded the balance, $4.2 million. With that, I think that completes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Lou, for that fabulous overview of our Costshare project here at the St. Johns River Water Management District. You had mentioned the nutrient removal that the constructed wetlands were able to have both in Ocala and some of those other stormwater projects. Are these additional opportunities or additional chemical treatment, or is it utilizing the processes that occur naturally in wetlands?
This is a complete natural system. Like the example I'd always bring is the human body has the kidney that takes out toxins. Nature has wetlands, and wetlands will remove a lot of the nutrients that naturally occur, and that does it through chemical, and biological things that are happening in the soil and in the plant communities that are in that wetland and that constructed system.
Fabulous. I see that there is one question about if there will be a copy of this presentation available. I can definitely send that to you, but also please remember that this is being recorded, and so feel free to share that information with colleagues that might be interested as well, so that they can see the full recording of it rather than just the PowerPoint itself, where you might lose some of that information. Another question that I see coming in is, does the district try and focus the cost share funding in different regions, or is it based on the project, or does it vary by the purpose of the cost share funding?
Well, again, it's a competitive process, but the projects are open to all areas within the water management district. And we have relationships with a lot of the communities, so we try to get out there and promote the program and try to kind of set the table and see if we can get the best and most beneficial projects. So it's not an area, it's more about the benefits and how it impacts and protects the resource.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a very informative presentation, and thank you all for participating today. I hope that you will register and tune in for our next webinar for December 10th, where we will be talking about wetlands and wetland restoration in the Upper St. Johns River Basin. And I hope that everyone has a fabulous rest of their Thursday. Thank you again so much, Lou, for that presentation.
Thank you, Jennifer. Have a good day.